Okay, I really gotta work on remembering how to do birthday shoutouts because this is seriously like the umpteenth time that I forgot to do it, and I'm just feeling so guilty about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very sorry. So let's take care of yesterday's. Believe it or not, one of them actually has a small story regarding it, but I'll get to that in a minute. Two girls I know from Gettysburg College, one woman I worked with at Pennsylvania, and the other one is actually an old teammate of mine. But I'll get into that a little bit later. Don't worry, it's not a somber one, I swear. Anyway, let's get to today's birthday shoutouts. One of them being a girl I knew from the fellow Horseheads High School alum, of course, and the other is actually another one of my brothers. So, to those of you who had birthdays yesterday and those of you who have birthdays today, I really hope your day turns out very special. So, with that said, how about we get into the small story about one of my old teammates, shall we? As you guys know, I did wrestling at Horseheads High School. And when I started doing it as a freshman, there was another person who was there who also did it as a freshman. And believe it or not, there were a few others who've been doing it for many years who were in our grade. But as the years went on, due to injuries or people losing interest, he and I were the only ones who were there all 4 years. Yeah. He ended up being a team captain. I mean, the only reason I wasn't was because we had a new coach and he didn't really know everyone there. Plus, I will admit, I was really immature back then. I brought that upon myself. But you know what? Being a wrestling captain couldn't have happened to a better guy. So, if you're watching, to the person I'm referring to, just know that I hope your birthday yesterday was really special. I hope you were surrounded by your loving family, friends, your wife, and your child. Or, darn, I forget if he has one kid or two. Sorry about that. Well, anyway, I hope it was surrounded by family, friends, loved ones, etc. The point is, I hope your birthday was really good. Actually, if you want to know a really funny story about this particular teammate and friend of mine, because I should also iterate, he was actually a true friend when I really needed one. There was, in the men's locker room, you obviously have a bathroom in there. And in said bathroom, there were 2 urinals. One for taller people and one for not very tall people. And I was always taller than he was. But that in no way, shape, or form made him a bad person. No, he wrestled at like 130, 140. I was, high 100s to low 200s, that area. So there was a significant size difference. But anyway, every day before wrestling practice for all 4 years, we actually used those 2 urinals. I used the taller one, he used the not very tall one. And for almost 4 years, neither one of us really paid any attention to it. Until, with about 2 weeks before the season was over, our senior year, we're both using these urinals. And I just couldn't help but say, we've been doing this same shtick literally for 4 years. I'm not just talking about practice. I mean doing this. Yeah. I mean, one thing I always like to do before I have to do anything that could potentially be remotely uncomfortable or anything like that is I always try to make sure I use the bathroom first. then I do the thing that could potentially be very uncomfortable. Because, hey, if you have to go to the bathroom, excuse me, if you have to use the restroom during that uncomfortable thing, whether it's a sports practice or a long drive from one place to another, or say you have a meeting with someone that's going to last an hour or longer, you want to make sure you're at least comfortable before you do that. So after I tell him this, he actually looked back to me and said, "I know." And then we both laughed. Yeah, he's a really cool guy. And I really hope your birthday was special, dude. And I hope to see you at the 10-year reunion. You never know. But yeah, now that I've cleared that out of the way, and now I feel less guilty about missing everyone's birthday shoutouts yesterday. Sorry about that. Excuse me. One of those mornings, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I mean, there are a few things I am feeling a little guilty. I mean, I haven't even been paying attention to the World Cup, which is a real shame because actually it was not quite a week ago, but I mentioned that, the couple I've known for many, many years, one I've known since the mother I've known since had a kid. The couple I've known for many, many years had a child, a baby boy. And the mother I've known since kindergarten, the father I've known doing Big Flats Youth League basketball. I actually met him in 6th grade, but it's still many years, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, even though he was pretty good at playing basketball, he didn't really pursue it in high school. His main sport of choice, believe it or not, was soccer. And he ended up being one of the best soccer players I've ever known. Although, sometimes, I mentioned this in my videos before, ladies and gentlemen, but sometimes I wonder if whether the big old party I have ever happens between my Bullets, my brothers, and the good people of Trinity-Pawling, what would happen if, any of those worlds were to collide? And sometimes I wonder what would happen if athletes I knew ended up going to Trinity-Pawling with me and playing sports there. And in one particular instance, the father of this sweet baby boy, who was just born a week ago, what if he actually went to Trinity-Pawling and played soccer? Because I can tell you right now, he was also not a very big person, so he couldn't have played football. Especially since Trinity-Pawling had 4 PGs. You can only use 4 PGs, and so you couldn't do it already. And his only other option was doing cross country with me. But I get the feeling he would have stuck with soccer anyway. He really loves soccer. In fact, I do believe during his honeymoon, they actually went to Spain? I gotta look it up, but it was definitely one of the big soccer-related areas, which I actually saw the photos. They look very nice, by the way. Oh yeah, right. It was somewhere where they visited a big soccer-related area. The point is, I wonder what would happen if he actually went to Trinity-Pawling and played soccer too. And believe it or not, another soccer player I've known, who was actually the writer, producer, director, and one of the stars of the McDonald's Mafia. Oh yeah, this guy was a very multi-talented individual. He actually played soccer as well for Trinity-Pawling. And I asked him what teams are usually any good. And what he said was, there's 4 teams that are usually very good, and they all consist of athletes who are from Jamaica, Brazil, Spain, and they're tall, they have long dreadlocks, stuff like that. So, the more I thought about it, the more I realized, as good as this particular soccer player I've known from Horseheads, the one I've known since 6th grade doing Big Flats Youth League basketball, was, I don't think he would have made much of a difference. No offense. I'll always defend you, but there are some things that are pretty much already set in stone, and that was one of them. But yeah, there's that. So, I think one day all three worlds will collide. I don't know how, but I bet it will happen. Who knows? Maybe I'll become big and rich and famous doing these videos, and I'll fund it all myself. I mean, I already know a few things. One, I will make sure there's plenty of food. There absolutely has to be plenty of food at a party. You can never have too much food at a party. The worst thing you can have at a party is if you run out of food. Well, the worst thing that can happen to a party with people are there. The worst thing that can happen to a party in general is no one shows up. But I doubt that would ever happen. Because if there's one thing I've known making these videos, is that for the people who've been watching the longest, you guys have been super duper awesome. You've been awesome enough to watch the videos. You've been awesome enough to answer advice if I had any. And frankly, you just make me happy that I make these videos at all. And so I will keep making them, ladies and gentlemen, for you to watch and enjoy. Speaking of which, please like, favorite, share, and subscribe. You know I could totally use the support on YouTube. I am humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I am hopeful that we all have a wonderful Tuesday. And always remember, if you ever want to talk or chat, I'll always be here to lend an ear. You thought I was going to point at this one, didn't you? And I'll always have your back. So take care. And as for today's video of competitive Pokemon battling, let's just say it's a pretty old related one. Take care.